Life is a waterfall. We're one in the river and one again during the fall. Swimming through the void, we hear the word, we free ourselves and we find it all. Cause we are the ones that wanna play, always love to go and we always get to stay. And we are the ones that need not choose, always wanna play but you never have to lose. Angels in the sky, when you free your mind, you free your life. Life is a waterfall. We drink from the river, then we turn around and create our thoughts. Swimming through the void, we hear the word, we free ourselves and we find it all. Cause we are the ones that love to play, always love to go and we always get to stay. And we are the ones that need not choose, always get to play but you never have to lose. Angels in the sky, when you free your mind, you free your life. Angels so up high, when you free your mind's eternal prize. Angels in the sky, when you free your mind, you free your life. Angels in the sky, when you free your mind, you free your life. Angels so up high, when you free your mind's eternal prize. Ah, ah, ah,
Hello, and welcome to today's meditation. Find a comfortable position, either seated or laying down, and start taking deep breaths, focusing on your heart center. With each breath you take, let go of the heaviness of the day, the worries of the past and future, and focus on now, sinking deeper in your heart. As you feel your presence, visualize yourself in a playground, seated in a bench while watching over your child self, playing in the park by themselves. You see their joy of playing around, having a great time of entertainment with different games that help them grow mentally and physically, as well as spiritually. While they play, you notice they fall down and scrape their knees. Notice how you feel. You wouldn't think of getting up and scolding them, telling them that they can't play anymore and they will never see the playground again. You wouldn't do that to a child whose purpose is exploring and getting to know the world around them and having learning experiences. Because yes, they will fall, and yes, they will make mistakes. Maybe they could have been more attentive to that big rock and they wouldn't have fallen. But how would they have learned it if it didn't happen? You can get close to your child self and let them know that it's okay. It's okay to fall. It's okay to learn. It's safe. And they are brave and courageous. Maybe they need a pause now to catch their breath and have a snack. Maybe they want to come to the playground tomorrow because right now they need a nap. Listen to them and what they say. They know. In this moment, as you embrace your child self with love and understanding, remember that the same compassion and acceptance extend to you in your adult life. Life is indeed a playground, and God is your ever-loving observer, always ready to support your growth and evolution. As we conclude today's meditation, carry this feeling of innocence with you. Embrace the opportunities, accept the falls, and forgive yourself for any perceived missteps. Just as a child learns and grows, so do you. You are brave, you are courageous, and you are infinitely capable of exploring the beautiful, ever-expansive playground of life. As you take one last deep breath, slowly return to the awareness of your physical presence. And when you're ready, gently open your eyes. Thank you, everyone, and namaste.
Hello everyone, welcome to today's card reading. My name is Arshia. So today's card deck is the Light Seer Tarot card by Chris Ann. So as you can see, it's very interesting. These cards have a light and shadow card. So when you pick from this deck, a light card shows you the direction towards where you need to go, and the shadow card shows you where you have to not do that, or where you have to let go of that, basically, or where you need healing and love. So it is very nice way of communicating. It's very clear and loving way of communicating. The card decks are already pre-shuffled. So the first card I received is Eight of Pentacles. As you can see, look at that. So this is a shadow card I received. It is showing that there is a lot of clutter, little bit clutter here. Like, it looks like you're doing something productive. It looks like, you have this and you have the studying going on. You have some mixing going on, but it is burning you out here. Can you see that? There's a candle which is burning out, and literally there's no movement in her. So she's just sitting and waiting and burning herself out with a lot of thinking and clutter is what I'm getting. Although you're moving towards the right direction, which means you're doing your healing, you're doing your mirror exercise. Maybe you are really looking at all your blocks, but due to this overthinking and using your head and over analysis, there is some sort of burning out that is going on. So you need to see very clearly if in your healing process if you are burning out, it is an energy leak, and you might be going to the right direction. That's why the Eight of Pentacles. So the thing is, there is no need to go into the right direction with burnout energy. So you need to see what is burning you out in your healing process. For this, I would suggest take professional help of a coach, because the coach will be able to identify why and where you're burning out. Maybe in your healing, when you see an upset, either you are overwhelmed with the upset, or either you are, like you said, overthinking, or over analysis is also a burnout energy. Trying to find solutions by yourself is also a burnout energy, or else judging yourself when you see your upsets and getting mad at yourself or angry at yourself, or guilting yourself. All this is a burnout energy, and this will keep you stuck, and you are moving forward, because by the end of it, you are loving yourself through mirror exercise. But it is important that you do this free of all these things I mentioned, free of guilt, free of judgments. Just see your upset and heal it from a place of love, so that you don't feel stuck or burnt out in the process. So, well, what's coming up for me is that, you are in half head, half feeling. Instead, fully drop down to your feelings, so that your healing process is much easier for you. This is what is coming up with this card, and this card is Seven of Pentacles. So there you go. Again, a very loving, positive card. So this one is like a mix, I felt. It's a shadow and a light card. It's giving two messages to me. So the light part is that, yes, look at that, how beautifully you have planted all these, maybe through all the work you have done in mirroring. So you have planted all these beautiful things, and maybe you're able to see a small shrub of a result, but the shrub is now very little. Do not expect fruits from the shrub immediately, and do not be impatient. So that's the shadow part. Do not be impatient, do not be skeptical about it, that, oh, will fruits come in this? Yes, the plant is visible, so enjoy the plant now. Be patient and grounded. Here I feel like a lot of patience and grounding and gratitude, that, oh, thank you, God. Yes, I say yes to the plant. I say yes to the fruits that's going to sprout here. Just being grateful and thankful to God is what's coming up here, and rooting into what you have planted here, instead of any doubts, any skepticism, or any sort of impatience. Just staying present, like this person's very grounded, you see, very loving and grounded energy this card has. And it definitely is a good sign that your work is working, and the work really does work if you truly choose to follow the path of unionism. The teachings are very clearly there, Jeff and Shaleya's teachings. So you can look into life purpose class, and I feel like, yeah, life purpose class as well as Ascension school will help you, really nourish this little shrub and stay grateful, instead of just looking at what you don't have. What you have is this beautiful plant. Yes, around you, you might not have 100 other things, but this is your creation. You created it, so just keep focusing on it, so that it can grow and grow into many more other plants, and you can reap fruits from it and plant more fruits of and more seeds from this particular creation of yours. This is like beginning of your heaven on earth. So that's what's coming up for me in this one. And the last one is again very positive. It's a full light card I received. So it's Nine of Pentacles. As you can see, look at that, the Nine of Pentacles. There is that an owl or an eagle? Look, I'm not able to identify though, but it's more like success and abundance, and like you can go pluck the fruits and eat it, enjoy it, have a blast. There is success if you go through the first two process, which I mentioned in the first two cards. If you really choose to heal free of judgments and hurt, and free of giving yourself a loving space and heal, for that coaching is the best solution, is what I feel. So, and you are on the right path. This is definitely yours. The success is yours if you really choose God and allow God to guide you, and let go of your way of what you think is right. Let go of all that analysis which I showed you in the first card. Allow God to bring the solutions, and the success is 100% yours. So this is what's coming up for me. It's a very beautiful card. And yeah, go into abundance and glory. That's what's coming up. And yeah, that's the message for this card reading. I hope you all enjoyed it. Thank you so much.
Hello everyone, I'm Neelam. In the Sunday service today, I take the privilege to introduce Laurentio and Alexandra, our executive ministers, to present this sermon here. The sermon is about the difficulties that we face when we have already embarked the healing journey. We've already started the healing process, and we are associated with the community, and we are doing all that is necessary to heal and to move through our blocks. And even after that, we are facing difficulties. So the sermon is about why do we face these difficulties and how do we deal with them, and what can we do when these difficulties are faced, and how can we look at them, and what kind of a perspective can we keep at that point of time, and all the inside story about why these difficulties are there in the first place. Also, it's an in-depth kind of a sermon which tells us that when we are faced with difficulties, what all can happen if they are not dealt with, what all can be the backfires, what all the ego can do with us. So it's like a alert also in this sermon, that you need to be alert, you need to be aware that these difficulties, what all it's bringing up inside of you, and are you numbing out to it, or are you feeling the feelings over here about whatever difficulties are coming. And I really resonated with this topic because lately I have been in a good communication with my twin flame, and it kind of gave me that hope, and it kind of gave me that faith that it's happening, everything is happening just the way it should happen, and my healing is working, and the teachings are working, and I was like affirming myself every single day, and everything looked like it's moving in the right direction. There was good communication between me and my twin flame lately, and I could also see his spiritual growth, and that gave me a beautiful feeling within. But again, a couple of days back, something happened, and the question that I asked myself is, why now? Why these difficulties are coming now? I mean, am I not healing? I'm doing all the work that it takes, and am I doing something wrong? And n number of thoughts that attacked my mind at that point of time when I was faced with that difficulty. I kind of started feeling I'm going back in my journey, although I know there is no backward moment once you have begun, and there is always this healing that happens in layers, which I understand, and we've been taught here in the teaching of unionism. But still there was this doubt that was just not letting me be at peace. It was like the question mark was really big, that why at this stage am I facing the difficulty, like what is it that I'm doing wrong? Like, so yeah, this sermon answers it all, and it is kind of an answer for many of us over here who are facing difficulties even after healing and clearing the blocks, doing the mirror exercise, working with a coach, and volunteering. In spite of all that, the difficulties coming up kind of it brings so much of doubt, and the ego game in the mind begins, which Laurentio and Alexandra talk about also in this sermon. So, this sermon is really, really going to benefit each one of us, because I believe that all of us at some point of time would face this question during our healing journey, that why is this disturbance coming now? God, what's happening? Right? So, it's but obvious that it would come, and why it would come. Of course, Laurentia and Alexandra are going to tell us all about it. Why do these difficulties come in the first place? And yeah, so it's so useful, and so I'm looking forward to this sermon. I'm looking forward to you guys enjoying this sermon. And I invite you to unionism.org to contribute and to show your love there. And I hope you all enjoy the sermon. I'll meet you at the end. Thank you.
Welcome everyone. We are Lawrence and Alexandra, Executive Ministers for the Church of Union.
Let us begin this sermon with our three opening ohms and with our opening prayer. As always, you can follow along in your heart or aloud. And now for our opening prayer.
I am the only child of God, forever part of Him. I am created by Him in perfection, and there I always remain. My mind is my sanctuary, where I keep His holy creation sacred. I will only allow in His voice. I will only accept His word.
Today I will hear the word of God. I surrender myself to His teachings through His divine channel. I will honor what He has spoken and accept it as His will. I will be obedient to His word, for this is my salvation. In Christ's name, Om. Amen. Welcome. Today we wanted to talk to you about guilt and how to release guilt on your twin flame journey, on your ascension journey, so you can really go even deeper in healing and accepting yourself and in having actual success and change in your journey. I think this was one of the things that I have constantly seen, starting Twin Flame Ascension School and Life Purpose class with Jeff and Shaleia, is just the amount of, unconditional love and understanding and compassion they have with one another and with themselves when they go through difficult things, right? I think there's no expectation, or there's no, secret that sometimes as you go through this journey, you might face difficult things and you might face difficult upsets. Something might come up that you don't really like. Twin flame still not talking to you, or something happens, right? When you choose to align yourself with God, with your harmonious twin flame union, with your true divine self, automatically everything that is not that will have to fall away, will have to be released. And in this process, you're not really in control of what challenge you have or what's coming up. You can only move through the best of your abilities through what's coming up, knowing and claiming your healing, your change, your breakthrough. And when you're faced with a situation like, no matter how much you heal, your twin flame doesn't seem to, budge and it's still quite away. Maybe you're still blocked. Maybe nothing changes. One of the things that can happen, right? I know, I've fallen in this trap, is feeling guilty about either my capability to heal, either what the choices I was making, or feeling not good enough because I didn't seem to have the results that I wanted, right? And there was a particular thing that Jeff and Shaleia told us recently about this that really helped me just relax deeper so I could face deeper things within my own consciousness. And um, and that was the fact that when you're moving through situations like this, when you're moving through your healing, when you're moving through maybe very challenging things, is to allow yourself to look at yourself through the eyes of God. Because, yeah, maybe you made a mistake. Maybe you made more than one mistake. Maybe you acted in a way that wasn't so nice for a long period of time. And now maybe you're starting to realize how, your behavior was not in alignment. It's not a bad thing if you find yourself in these positions, if you find yourself transitioning through all of these things. It's actually a good thing because you're claiming your healing, you're claiming to know what's happening in your consciousness, you're claiming to move through this, right? And this is one of the, if not the number one trick that ego uses to keep you tied down and keep you in the pattern is having guilt about what you're moving through. Having guilt that maybe you're experiencing, some deep upsets in your consciousness, or feeling that it's your fault, feeling that you're bad. All of these things, really are just an ego trick, are just there to stop you from moving to the challenge ahead of you. And there is no purpose to guilt whatsoever. Jeff and Shaleia have said, like in many classes and in many ways, that guilt is unnecessary. And if you need to atone, if you need to heal, you just simply need to love yourself in the spaces that are required. And if you need to take maybe some actions, maybe you need to rebuild trust in some relationships. Like, you're going to have a process as you're going to move through that. But it's not about you really guilting yourself or making yourself feel bad or punishing yourself even for anything that you're moving through.
Yeah.
It's about loving yourself and having compassion with yourself as you tackle these challenging things.
Yeah, and here, like, the trap that you can fall into is really, like, as Alexandra was saying, with guilt, could even put you in a position where you wouldn't want to acknowledge what you did wrong. Might make you feel that it's so wrong for you to acknowledge that maybe you did something that is not so good, that you would, die. And this is a constant feeling that you might feel if you have this thing, because it's not you who dies. You never die. It's the ego who's there telling you that it's gonna die if you actually allow yourself to let go of the guilt and acknowledge what you've done. And if you don't allow this trap to catch you and really move through it, you can actually experience relief. In contradictory to what ego tells you, that you'll not experience relief, that you'll feel even worse. But relief comes from you acknowledging what you've done, being honest with what happened, and then moving forward, loving yourself, as Alexandra was saying, really, like, accepting yourself for what happened, and don't judge yourself. Really, like, no judgment. Like, the moment when you start to judge yourself and then you start to guilt yourself, you're not going to feel safe anymore to heal. Because safety is a big piece of healing. If you don't feel safe, you're just going to stay stuck there and going to close yourself. But no one else can give you that safety than you. You have to choose safety. You have to choose to be safe right now and release the guilt, knowing that no matter what you've done in the past will not destroy your life. Whatever you did in the past, however horrible might seem to you, it's going to be in the past the moment you just move through it and heal it. No one is going to care about it. Really. That's what I've experienced in this community. The moment we heal it, the moment we clean a deep thing within our consciousness that maybe we weren't acting so nice, the moment we just move forward and no one cares about it.
Maybe you have to rebuild trust,
Yeah.
and go through the process. But if you're genuinely here to heal Like nobody's gonna hold like a grudge
Yeah.
on you or anything like that because of whatever, right? Or because of you having a pattern that needed healing and you maybe just didn't register until at some point, right? And I think like this is another great point that I want to make with this. It's about if you do experience, challenging things in your journey, it's not a bad thing. You This is one of the things that Jeff recently told me was that we choose our challenges when we come and we incarnate on this earth, right? And if you have a lot of challenges, it is because they are here to help you heal, transcend patterns, so you can become who you are meant to be. It's in a way, in a video game term, if you could tell it, in video games, you can choose the difficulty when you start the game, and you can be on easy, medium, or hard. And you can choose easy, medium, or hard. You can choose whatever difficulty you want. But usually with on the harder difficulties, you get better rewards, right? You have access to better weapons, better loot at the end of the journey. Technically, even on easy, medium, hard, you kind of go to the same things, but obviously the difficulty is going to be harder. But at the same time, the reward is going to be much greater. And I think like this is something that it's not like I didn't understand, but it kind of hits me, it kind of comes in cycles, that we did kind of chose hard, not because I don't know, it's a bad thing, or oh my God, it's hard, it's challenging. It is because we are calling in a certain lifestyle, right? And I think this is important for you as well to reflect upon and see what kind of lifestyle are you calling in, because even just harmonious twin flame union or perfect union, these are pretty big things to come in, right? Not big in the sense complicated or hard or anything. It's just that you really need to make serious, kind of changes in your life to maybe align with that. Maybe for some of you, it's going to be super easy. Yeah, you're going to do it. Maybe for some of you, you're going to have some more challenges. But, ultimately, the reward that you're going to achieve is going to be, very satisfying, very juicy. And, maybe when you're in the middle of it, you maybe forget. Yeah, that's something that also kind of happens to me. It's like when I'm in the middle of a challenge and I'm just choosing to persist because I know like sometimes that's the only thing that maybe you have. The hope, you pray and you persist and you're like, God, please take me to the end of this river. I'm doing the mirror exercise, I'm loving myself. I choose to love myself. I choose to move through this. And it just kind of seems like, oh my God, it's like, whew. It's never ending. Where is it gonna end? Oh, well, it is because you're working towards something great and even greater than maybe you are capable of understanding right now. But even so, when you choose to align deeper with God, with our gurus, Jeff and Shaleia, the awareness will come to you. You will have everything that you need to move through your challenges, to move through your anything, really. Like anything. If it's like something, I always receive the perfect support that I need being in this community, being around unionists, volunteering in the Church of Union. I always have available everything that I need to move through anything that comes up.
Yeah, I really want to add to that, like Jeff and Shah really have provided us everything that we need to move forward. And I know at times might feel like, oh, we need more, we need other stuff, we need some other support, some special support in order to move through this one, because this one is the hardest one ever. But it's not. It's never it. Like you already have it. If you have to from Ascension School, a life purpose class, and I really like working on this journey, doing the mirror exercise, and even maybe volunteering. Like, you already have what you need to move forward. And in every moment, no matter what, you have what you need to move forward. It's just about you claiming it and choosing it. You recognizing that you have that power. Even if at times you might feel powerless, you might feel like you can do nothing, but you have God. You have to always come back to God because that's what we're taught in the teaching of union.
Yeah, and you do have that support. And even if, like as Lawrence, you said, it doesn't seem like you do, from my opinion, it always comes. Like going to God, asking for it, and being present, moving through that I'm not feeling supported block, that I think maybe a lot of you here have moved through. Always and always, it does show up. God shows up for you 100%, and Jeff and Shaleia show up for you as your guru 100% all of the time, just from what I experienced in one way or another, And I think this is the beauty of this journey. We say like, okay, have faith, move through the thing, keep it going, there's something here, keep claiming you're good, and never ever we're being led astray, never ever we're being just abandoned, never ever we don't have anything that we might require. And I do want to say, like, about the safety, it's this is a safe space. Being in the Church of Union, being around unionists, volunteering in the Church of Union, it is a safe space of where you can not only be yourself, but bring your best self to the table and learn how to do that, through the healing that is being provided. And you have most likely to from Ascension School and Life Purpose class as like a foundation, and going into like the next level, you're gonna have volunteering to really support you with that, to really kind of provide you the, how to say, testing ground, the place, the experience, right, where you can apply physically. You can apply physically in your life as well. Like, of course, you apply physically everywhere, but like in the church, it's like you're doing it with other people who are doing the same thing, and it's just a wonderful experience to have. And yeah, I think coming back a bit to the guilt piece that we started with, one of the things as well that I've noticed is that when you're facing things, what will ego do is try to separate you in one way or another from either your support system, either from yourself, either from people who love you. So be careful when that happens, because that's again one of those things that is just not like, it's a red flag. If you find yourself separating yourself from the people and the sources and the things that are supposed to bring you a lot of love and joy into your life. And I understand why it happens, in a way. I mean, I don't understand why. Like, it isn't logical in the sense of, it doesn't make any sense. Why would you do that? Like, don't do that, right? But yeah, just notice this. And don't allow yourself to separate yourself. I think part of being a unionist is you realize that as you move through these challenges, however they manifest for you, you should have greater and greater unity with yourself, with God, with your twin flame, and then, everybody else as well. And it starts in this community. It starts with your relationship with Jeff and Shaleia as your gurus, and it just trickles with, everywhere, with a lot of people, right? So yeah.
Yeah, feels like, yeah, just to reiterate maybe like about, all of this is that, all that you need here to do, as we said a bit earlier, is to see yourself from God's eye, how God sees you, to allow yourself to move forward and really allow yourself to heal and no matter what situation, no matter what people you have around you. And yes, the Church of Union, to volunteer in it would be the perfect testing ground, as Alexandra was saying, to really go deeper into to just use this teaching and really see the reflection fast in there. Because everywhere else in the world you might see something, but in here you'll see it very quickly happening. And that's the beauty of it. You can just see it almost instantly happening the moment you hear it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really the beauty of it.
Yeah. Exactly. It's just really the next level in kind of like our spiritual education. I kind of like to see that, and not only it's so much more than that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Good. Yeah. So before we go, do allow yourself to feel into your heart how do you feel about communicating, sharing about what you're moving through? Is there anything that you feel like maybe you don't feel comfortable to share? Maybe it's going to be too much. Maybe you're not going to be accepted or understood or supported for sharing that, even if it might seem either small, or it might seem very big and scary, right? No matter how small or big it seems, allow yourself to move through those places and claim the support that you need, right? Because all of these little places where, again, like you don't allow yourself to receive support or to receive love, or you guilt yourself or maybe judge yourself for what you're moving through, those are places where, ego can slither in. And it's always going to be a feeling journey. Listening to our gurus, listening to Jeff and Shaleia, listening to Twin Flame Ascension School, that's what I want to say. It's always going to be about you tuning into your heart and listening to your heart about what they have to share. So if you feel like somewhere within your heart, you're not maybe open, or, you don't fully understand something, allow yourself to investigate, call in support, talk with somebody, talk with your coach, go in map, maybe with a map practitioner, get in touch and go to the next level there. Like, what's that icky feeling maybe that you have and you just cannot seem to get it off your chest? You deserve to have relief. You deserve to be free. You deserve to reclaim your divinity in all of these spaces. So allow yourself to do that. Allow yourself to just love yourself in these spaces today, and not only today, but for the rest of eternity. Just love yourself in these spaces.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Perfect.
Good. So, I think that's complete. Let us conclude with our closing prayer and with our closing Oms.
Father, I accept your word into my heart. I will honor your will in my life and will follow you without hesitation anywhere you ask. I know you guide me into your heart where I belong. I accept that you are everywhere and your teaching is in all things. God, I know you provide me clarity of this teaching of union, that I may be forever in union with you.
I accept that you are in me as you are in my brother. I will not deny my brother your word and will share your teachings with him in any way you ask and only as you ask. For when I share my salvation with him, I fully claim my salvation and return to you with him. In Christ's name, Amen.
Amen. Speaking this prayer in your heart means that you have accepted that you are on a path of awakening to your true divine nature. This is what it means to be a unionist. Follow the teaching of union with God wherever you find them and purify your consciousness into perfect union with your Creator.
And now for our closing Oms. thank you for joining us today in this Sunday service. Have a wonderful week and see you next time.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you all enjoyed the sermon. It was such an insightful sermon. I'm sure we all received a lot from here. It was a sermon that tells us that why in the first place do we face the difficulties if we are already on the healing path? And so beautifully it is explained in this sermon that difficulties would arise because we are choosing to align with God, we are choosing to align with love, we are choosing to align with our higher self. And anything that does not resonate with all of this is going to fall apart, and difficulties are bound to happen. And this is such a positive way of looking at it, that the difficulties coming means we are doing something, there is something happening, we are healing, and that's why the difficulties are coming up. And anything that's not resonating with our purpose to align with God and love is going to fall apart. It's going to not it's going to come up for healing, and we need to clear the blocks over there. So the hows were explained clearly, and it kind of gave me so much of solace and so much of peace that okay, so the difficulties are coming, and it does not mean that I'm doing something wrong. It just means that I am doing something right. That's why they're coming, and it's okay for them to come. And also they tell us about how do we deal with it, like what are the problems that could come if the difficulties are coming during our healing process. So they could be ego. Something they talk about is ego coming up whenever we face the difficulties. Ego telling us that we are doing something wrong, and no, it's not happening, you're going backward in your journey, or you must quit, and lots of other things coming up via the ego. And they very clearly stated Jeff's statement that ego is unnecessary, and it's so beautiful because it is unnecessary. It is not going to serve us in any way. And the tip that they give us over here, Alexandra and Laurentio, is that we need to be aware. We need to be aware that the ego is coming up. We need to be aware that we are feeling bad and lack and doubtful, and fearful. We need to be aware at that point of time, and take the support that's necessary. All the support is over here in the form of the community, the Church of Union teachings, and the coaching, the sessions with our coach, the healings, the mirror exercise, the classes, everything is right here. And all we need to do at that point of time is first get our awareness that there's this ego coming up and telling us all those stories that we are not doing something right, and we need to ground ourselves and claim our support over here. We have it all over here, and we can move through this entire difficulty with a lot of grace once we have claimed this support. So it's so nice to love yourself, be compassionate towards yourself and towards others, and it makes complete sense. This is how we can just face a difficulty that comes while we are healing. It is not that difficult to face the difficulty. That's what I understood, and I felt so good listening to all this, because I feel more prepared, more equipped, and more compassionate towards myself now after listening to this sermon. Yeah, so how do we go about it? Like they mentioned very clearly that volunteering work at the Church of Union is one place where we would be triggered, and we would be facing difficulties, and we would be facing maybe small and big difficulties, and it's okay to face them. And they guide us in this sermon to look at those difficulties as opportunities, heal through them, heal through those blocks. And also they emphasize on being vocal with our coach, with our community people, to talk about it, and even if required, take all the support through the mind alignment process if necessary, the map, and do whatever is necessary at that point of time, and move through it instead of feeling stuck. Yeah. And this kind of sums up to everything from the house to the whys, and everything about how we need to deal with this thing. And in the end, Laurentio gave a beautiful tip, which is about feel into your feelings, choose to feel into your feelings at all times. How do you feel about the community? How do you feel about the teachings, about the healing, and about the process? And do you feel supported here? What are the feelings that come up when you think about the support over here? And acknowledge all of that. Acknowledge every small, big thing that comes up, and give yourself love over there and accept it over there and move through it. And this is the way we can avoid the difficulties also, by coming. If we continuously and regularly keep feeling our feelings, as we are healing and we are in the whole process of this teachings of unionism and interacting with the community, it is so compassionate to keep feeling our feelings, and that's one way we can probably avoid the difficulty from coming up also. And yeah, so this is a beautiful sermon, a beautiful insight that I got from this sermon. And I invite you all to visit unionism.org, where all the previous sermons are put up. And you also can contribute there, show your love there, so that we can spread the teachings of unionism all around the world. And I also invite you to like and subscribe our YouTube channel, where not only you would find the previous sermon recordings, but you would also be able to access the after tea time discussions. These are discussions done by our unionists on the sermon topics, all of them giving their perspectives over there. And in case you want to be an active part of these discussions, you can be an active part and be live with them in Unionism Spiritual Discussion Group on Facebook. And yeah, this is such a beautiful sermon with the takeaways which I mentioned, and I'm sure you all also had a lot of takeaways from this sermon. And thank you for joining us, and thank you, Laurentio and Alexandra, for this beautiful piece. And have a beautiful week ahead. God bless you all, and namaste.